All right, welcome back to Art for O.U.R. This is Dan Preece. Today's kind of an awesome day. We've been working on a collaboration with Jodi Fuller. She's an incredibly gifted artist who has donated a few pieces in the past and has agreed to do some work right on our YouTube channel, which is a new thing for us. So without further ado, I'll turn it over to Jodi Fuller and her skills. And please enjoy this sketch. Have a great one.
Hi, I'm Jodi. I'm so happy to be here trying to do a video for this today, and I know it supports Art for O.U.R, which is such an amazing cause. I know that hitting that like button helps their cause, and so let's see if we can, first of all, draw something fun and let me help you with some of the things that I like the most, things that work for me, and tips that I have to share in my journey with art. Sometimes finding answers to what is that person using, and that kind of a thing was a hard challenge sometimes. So I really want to show you the things that I love, and that's why I decided to keep this simple. So I got inspired by guinea fowl feathers, and I ordered a bunch from a lady on Etsy, a company called Feathers Addict. And when they came, they were beautiful. They were quality. I would highly recommend just all kinds of different feathers. If there's any project you need that from, I would check her out on Etsy. When I start to figure out a project, I usually, like here I'm holding the feather up and I'm starting to get the basic shapes down. A feather is really fun because there's so many different ones. So if you don't do it exactly right, it's totally fine. Another one doesn't even look like it, right? So you can kind of do your own thing with it, and it gives you that freedom. So what's one of the things about nature that I love doing? Landscapes. I paint landscapes a lot, and nature's just great that way. So some tips with, you can either hold the feather as I'm doing as you're sketching, and basically just getting a common shape, looking at patterns of the polka dots and how they run and placing them on the feather, just randomly here and there. You can always change them if one's not perfect. But another way, if you're beginning and you want to try this, is you can lay your feathers down on the paper the way that you think they look good. And you can take a picture of that and print that off for yourself. And that way you don't have, you've already predetermined how things are going to lie next to each other, how they're going to shadow, all that kind of stuff. But for this one, I just wanted to hold it for you and just sketch. So basically I've used my favorite pencils. I have 3. They are all Winsor and Newton charcoal pencils, and they come in a set of 3 colors. There's a light one, which I'm using here, and then when I want to switch to medium, that's a little bit darker, and then I have a third one it's like black on the end, which tells you that's the darkest pencil. So I always start with the lightest first and sketch everything in fairly lightly. Then I take another item that I love here, a Q-tip. It doesn't matter what kind, just whatever you've got on hand. And a Q-tip is the most amazing thing for just blending charcoal. It softens it. You can actually get some charcoal on your Q-tip and then go down to the areas where the feather frays and just lay what's already on the Q-tip down as color. Like, it's a very versatile little thing to use. See how I'm doing the hair-like strokes in a feather? Using a Q-tip right after to soften some of them is amazing because they're not all strong lines and you want to soften a few, but it allows some of the line from the previous layer to show through, and I love that. So it's definitely a layered process. I add charcoal, I blend a little. I push my painting or drawing, and then I pull it back if I get too strong. I would always encourage people to push and pull with their paintings. And what I mean by that is I think you should take it as far as it can go. I think you should make it as interesting as you can. And at some point, if you think you've done too far, there's always a way to pull it back. And that's what I try to do to keep them very interesting. So basically now I'm just going back in with the darkest pencil. I keep my pencil very sharp. I just have a dinky little General's brand square pencil sharpener, and it works awesome for my charcoals. It's probably $1, like nothing expensive. But I keep my pencil sharp, especially when I'm starting to hone in with the darkest color, because it's like the finest of the dark lines that I'm placing in at this point. And I just love going in with micro eraser afterward. So the eraser you'll see here, I'm going to go back in and blend a little. I've used a paintbrush for that. They get into very tiny little spots and make it really easy. So I always have some point tip paintbrushes lying around that I can use if I don't want to use an eraser. And it will blend. Or if I don't want to use the tip of a Q-tip, it's just too fat or something. So here you can see where I'm drawing with this little micro eraser. And it's my favorite thing. I hold it and use it like a pencil. So the same way you would draw a dark hair like stroke with a dark charcoal pencil, you would do the same thing with a white micro eraser. And it just creates the most beautiful like light spots on top of charcoal spots. So I highly recommend that you get a micro eraser. Everything will be easier if you have that. So here I'm still defining a little bit and then going back in and doing the Q-tip one more time. And you could even do this one more time, you know what I mean? And just keep shadowing and taking that feather to new levels. It's really important to at some point put the piece down. That's your reference piece. So set it down and don't even use it. And then look at your drawing as a composition and think, does it need more darkness here? Does it need a shadow here? Oh, maybe I should have a little bit more variety. Maybe the tip of the feathers should all be a little lighter, but down as it gets towards the stem, it gets darker. I mean, really pay attention to those details. And at some point you can lay that piece down and just keep working with it. So here I've just taken a piece of sandpaper and I have used it to point my micro brush tip and also to get the black off of it. So I can go into a spot really cleanly and clean something up. If there's a little bit of charcoal on it from erasing, sometimes you want that off. So a piece of sandpaper is perfect for that. You just run it along the edge of your eraser and it goes away. So on this guinea fowl feather, it is a tail feather or some type of tail feather, I believe, on the same bird. They have polka dots here and they have these beautiful amber colored with that gorgeous shape that they make. So I start sketching that on, and I also like to look at the shadow that it creates on the paper. And in this case, I'm going to leave it because I really like shadows. So what I will do when I'm drawing a shadow is use the eraser for softness, use the Q-tip for softness, and then I draw lines. So little, like, I do diagonal lines in a shadow, and then when I take the Q-tip over it, I make sure that I leave some of those lines visible. I feel like it defines the shadow really nicely, with it always being understated, more understated than the feather itself. So you'll see me put some lines on. Some people cross hatch. They'll go up and down with their pencil, then they'll go side to side, and they're going to leave that in there, and that's great. Whatever your style is, find a way to draw that style by having a kind of a signature way that you apply it. Here I use the side of the pencil and just do little lines, go back and blend a little. Okay, so that Q-tip is just everything. It's just so cool. I love stuff like that. I love finding the things that cost no money that are so easy and are such good. Oh, I have a makeup brush even, if you can believe it. So if I were doing a great big shadow around this feather, or actually drawing the background gray, I would be drawing lines on my paper and going in with like a blush brush from my makeup and blending that way, because it's a bigger tool for a bigger spot. So that's the reason I have several sizes of micro brushes. I have, or mechanical erasers, I guess I should call them. And I have several kinds of pencils, and it's because I like that variety. Nothing that I have is really, really expensive. I try to buy quality paper, and that always comes from Strathmore. And I love these pencils from Winsor Newton, because they are not going to break the bank, but they feel like quality and they do exactly what I want them to do. So, yeah. Anyway, it's been really fun doing this video, and I hope to do more. And if you like other works that you see here, you can find them on my personal page on Instagram at Jodi J. Fuller. And I also have a Facebook and things up on Pinterest. So thank you for watching, and I'm grateful that I had an opportunity to provide for such an amazing group. And I hope to see you again at another sketch. Thanks for watching. Bye.